Over the last few weeks, we've spent a lot of time talking about routines. We've looked at what realistic week can look like, why good enough is often enough. And last week, we talked about shrinking your routine when life gets busy or really busy instead of abandoning it altogether. But that brings up an important question. How do you know your routine is actually working? Most people immediately look at the scale like, did I lose weight? Did I maintain? Did I gain? And obviously, if weight loss or weight maintenance is your goal, the scale, gives us useful information. But as we have said before, it doesn't tell the whole story. Let's be clear. If you are trying to maintain your weight and your weight is steadily increasing over time, that's information we shouldn't ignore. We need to know. And that personally prompts me to ask, what has changed? What is exercise doing? Like, what type of exercise you are doing? And have we done a full body composition analysis? And if you are actively trying to lose weight and nothing is changing over a meaningful period of time, that's also worth looking at too. But if your weight can fluctuate from day to day for all kinds of reasons, we have fluids, we have, excess salt, travel, changes in your normal eating pattern. You name it. Even simply having more food in your digestive system, because when you are focusing on maintenance, I always do recommend people to have their protein, their fiber. Increasing their fiber, therefore, will make it so that you are eating a few more carbohydrates. Good ones, hopefully, but more carbohydrates nonetheless. So what I don't want to happen is I don't want one number in the morning to determine whether you believe you're succeeding. What we are doing is we are looking at trends, right? So if you've been here at any point in time or with Live Like Weight Loss, you know that we talk about weight loss being a downward trend instead of a straight down line, right? For example, someone can have 6 very good days, step on the scale after eating out, and see a higher number almost immediately and decide, I'm not doing this again. This is not working. But again, you have to think about what led to that and what is your body reacting to. Again, that number on the scale is going to be just part of the story, not the whole story. Now, here's another sign that your routine may be working that has nothing to do with your weight. Healthy decisions, they start to become easier. What do I mean? Example, I was at a party this weekend. Burgers, brats, salads, mac and cheese, baked beans. I had a little bit of everything, but because I really wanted to enjoy the pasta salad, I did not have the bun with my burger or with my brat. Win-win. It's enjoying your breakfast. You know what you can grab for lunch. There are foods in the house that work for you. Another one would be you can go to a restaurant without spending the entire day worrying about what you're going to order. You already know your basics and most restaurants will have. That's progress. Remember when we talked about decision fatigue around food? This is the opposite. You're creating a little bit of normalcy around food for yourself. And when healthy choices start to feel normal instead of requiring constant effort, your routine is going to do exactly what we want it to do. Here's another one. You don't turn one unusual meal into an unusual week. Say you go out Saturday night. You had fun. You enjoyed yourself. Had great conversation. But Sunday comes and you eat normally again. No punishment. No skipping meals. Not trying to fast. No dramatic Monday restart. That's an enormous change for someone who spent years thinking, I was good, I was bad, and oh man, now I have to, or I blew it, and now I have to restart. I'll start again on Monday. Successful maintenance doesn't mean you never get away from your routine. It just means your routine has become familiar enough that you know how to come back to it. Here is another way in which you can tell that your routine is working. And this one is particularly important if you are taking a GLP-1 medication. Reduced appetite can make it very easy to use I'm not hungry as the only measure of whether you are doing well. But if you've been with us, you know better. So again, the issue is that eating as little as possible isn't the goal. The goal is to lose weight safely. And so that leads us to ask, am I getting adequate nutrition? Is the way that I am eating helping to support my body? So that will also lead to questions like, am I including enough protein regularly? Am I eating foods that provide fiber and a variety of nutrients, right? Am I drinking enough water? Do I generally have enough energy to live my life? That's important because we've talked about healthy aging. We have talked about exercise, the importance of exercise. And that goes, in relations to protecting muscle. We've talked about gut health. If you are not eating enough fiber and probiotic rich foods, there's room for improvement, right? That's what we're saying. And even on a GLP-1, those things still require nourishment. A successful routine isn't simply helping you eat less, it should be helping you eat better. Here goes another one. Food takes up less space in your head. What do I mean? I think this one is the most underrated sign of progress. People that are there, they're like, oh yeah, that's normal. You're thinking about food less. Not because you're ignoring your nutrition, but because you don't have that constant nagging thing in your head, negotiating with yourself all day about what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. You know what breakfast is, you know approximately when you're eating lunch, and you know there's dinner at home, you know what's coming because you made those decisions earlier and you're sticking with it, and that's it. Food becomes part of your day, and it becomes part of your day as opposed to being the main event in your head all day. That will provide you a peace of mind around food that will hopefully allow you to have a better relationship with food. See, the goal isn't for people to obsess over nutrition forever. The goal is to be able to learn what works for you and do that. And the rest of it, let it be noise. Yes, it's there. You learn how to look for things that are working for you. In that way, you're able to make better choices without even really having to think about it too much. The next one is probably one of the biggest tests, and it is, does your routine still work when your level of activity increases, right? So life got busy. Can you go out to dinner? Can you travel? Can you have a busy week? Can you celebrate a birthday and be able to go back to your regular routine? Can your schedule change? I mean, goodness, we know that life can get upside down in a very short amount of time. But the true question is, can you go back to your regular habits, your normal eating habits, despite all of that? If your plan only works when you are home, your refrigerator is perfectly stocked, nobody needs anything from you, or your calendar is empty, yeah, that's probably not going to be a long-term plan. That just translates to having an opportunity to change. We get an opportunity to do better. It takes a little bit of work, but it's still an opportunity, and that's exciting. That's exactly why last week we talked about shrinking your routine. A successful routine has to have flexibility built into it. All right, so another question that comes up is, when to start asking, how do I feel? So when do you start tracking your energy? Are you feeling stronger? Are you able to be active? How is your digestion? Are you constantly hungry or constantly so uninterested in food that getting adequate nutrition is difficult? What's happening? These aren't things to, diagnose yourself from. That's up to the doctors. If something's going on, please do reach out to your doctor or your medical professional. But they are useful information. These are things that you can use to self-assess and say, this is getting a little complicated. Maybe I should reach out to my doctor. Or again, your nutrition professional. And they're another reminder that health is bigger than just a number on the scale. What we're really trying to build here is a guide for you to use that can lead you to ask these questions and to know when to seek out help so that you can lose weight safely and or maintain it properly with a routine that works for you. We're not trying to create someone who can follow a perfect nutrition plan for 30 days. What do you do on day 31? Here, we're trying to create something that you can still be doing next year and 5 years from now. Something that helps you maintain your weight, protect muscle, and nourish your body. You want to support your health. I want you to live a long, healthy, strong life and enjoy yourself, because that's what I want for me too. And that is a much bigger standard than simply asking, was I good this week? So I have 5 questions that I'm going to leave you with to ask yourself. Again, this is a quick self-assessment. If you have questions, please do reach out. And I do not want you by any means to judge yourself just because of this, okay? So instead of judging your week only by the scale, try asking yourself these questions. Number 1, am I generally moving toward or maintaining my weight over time? Are healthy choices becoming easier and more automatic for me? Question 3, can I have an imperfect meal and return to normal without starting over? Number 4, am I actually nourishing my body, not just trying to eat less? And number 5, does this routine work in my real life? If you're answering yes to more and more of those questions, you're most likely well on your way to building something much more valuable than a perfect week. You are well on your way to building a way of living that works for you. And if you're listening to those questions and thinking, I'm not sure my current routine actually does those things, that is absolutely, we can help you to look at. Again, these are places where there's room for improvement, and what a great opportunity that is to be able to recognize it and get to work on those things. If you're taking a GLP medication, actively losing weight, or just trying to maintain weight that you've already lost, you can schedule a free GLP success and maintenance evaluation with us. There's never any charge to talk with any of us. We'll look at where you are, what's working, what's not, and what a realistic plan could look like for you.